everyone. Welcome back to the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in beautiful HO Scale. My name's Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 28.5. Actually, episode 29. This is a midweek update. Usually updates are on Sunday, but I decided to do another update because I've been doing quite a few things. I wanted to kind of let you know what's going on this week, and then also what you can expect for the update coming up this Sunday or Monday, depending on when it actually gets done. We appreciate everybody watching and joining in this video. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. That would be very much appreciated. All right, so one thing that's, or a bunch of things that are going to be shared in the update this Sunday is I did get started on the super trees. Some really nice scaled super trees. I got this from Scenic Express, as you can see. This Sunday, I'm going to go over the step-by-step process that I used to do these, so you can kind of get an idea how they go together. This is sagebrush material of some sort. I'm not exactly sure what the name of this plant is. There's some diluted white glue, some clothespins, a soldering iron of all things, and some flocking. And then here's I am kind of right in the middle of things. I think I have like 12 trees done here. I'm kind of getting used to having the trees be bigger than what they are in end scale. But there's not a whole lot of trees on the Evanston sub out in Wyoming and Utah, but there are a few places where there will be trees, especially where you might have some water collecting and so on. Another thing that's going to be updated this week is hopefully I'll get these fast tracks turnouts in. I was back to building turnouts with my fast tracks jigs, and these are going to be used for the car shops at the Evanston yards. Here's some ties that I put together. This will do 2 of the turnouts. I have 4 more to do. There's 2 right there, and then there's that's for the car shops. There's another one for, this is all the ties I have left. I'm going to be a little bit short, I think. But anyway, have a turnout to do at the Wholesome Cement, and then also for the Pocatello sub. So I got 2 more to build, and then I'll be done. Here's where the turnouts are going to go for the car shops at the Evanston yard. So it'll be 2 tracks going into a car shop. So it's going to be right here in this empty spot. Down the line there, I'm not going to be putting any kind of building here just because people are going to be reaching over to a couple cars here. So I'm going to kind of leave this kind of as bare as possible. But right here will be the car shops. I'm going to be using a Morton type building again. This is the an engine house for from Rick's Pike Stuff Products. Very inexpensive Morton type building, and I'm going to make it a car shops for repairing cars at the Evanston yard. Another thing I've been working on that you'll kind of see an update on more fully will be some new labeling. I'm trying to figure out how I want this labeling to look. I used a Union Pacific colors and a Union Pacific font. Hopefully it looks kind of like an engine colors. But I just printed this on paper for now because I'm not, I'm just kind of testing this out. I kind of look at it for a while. When I figure out the colors I really like, let me know in your comments if you like this particular color. We'll see how it goes. I have come up with a schedule of like a to-do list, and I want to try and complete the schedule to the point where I get scenery and ballast and background backdrop up all the way around the layout. So I just kind of got to start on it. Just doing this week. Have completing ballast, scale trees, dual coat track, print new fascia labels, Evanston car shop tracks, railroad crossings, and so on. I got something for next week. Then going on to each of the weeks. You can kind of look through it yourself and see. And I want to keep going and basically try to do a to-do list for getting the entire layout done. And hopefully it'll be sometime next spring or next summer. It's definitely going to take a while, but I always seem to work a lot better if I have a to-do list and a schedule to kind of work off. So something that we can all kind of look forward to and kind of work through together. You kind of have an idea of what to expect each week, and hopefully I'll be able to keep up. We'll see how it goes. Another item to kind of look forward to, I'm going to do a box opening of this sometime next week. I might have them this weekend, but that's the AC 4400s. Scale Trains has them now. Of course, I'm waiting to get my pre-orders from Lombard Hobbies, and it looks like I should be able to get that this weekend, or more likely probably early next week. So here's, of course, are the units I'm looking for. Here's the one that's a modern one with the yellow sill. The only problem with this one is that it doesn't have the PTC antenna. And every prototype photo I've been looking at for all these locomotives has them with PTC antennas in 2015 and forward. So I'm going to be getting this one, and they only have one road number for the modern one. And that's the, what is this, 7098, which is the exact road number that Coil had for their N-scale AC 4400s. I thought that was kind of unusual. But anyway, they then, in the red sill, they came up with 6 different road numbers. And of course, red sill's not my error, but I'm getting 4 of these anyway. I'm getting all the road numbers except for, I think, this, I'm not getting 7082. Okay, so I'm not getting this one, but I'm going to get 152, 7152. Here's what they look like. Again, these all do not have PTC antennas. But I am having a workaround. I'm going to update these once I get them in my hands. I'm going to update them to modern with PTC antennas and yellow sills. Now here's how I'm going to do the yellow sills. I got some micro scale decals. Mainly going to be using the yellow stripes on this decal sheet, and then also there's some safety things here that go on the yellow sill. So I'll be using that as well. Won't be using the ribbons or anything else, but I bought a couple of these, and then I also got from a place called Mac Rails. They ordered it direct from them. They make the PTC antenna, so I'll be removing the old style antenna dome from the locomotives when I get them, and we'll be replacing them with the PTC from Mac Rails. Try to plan out purchases for the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in my basement. Do a couple of things. First of all, I try to look at all the different trains that I have and what the needs of each train is. And I'm just zeroing in right now on motive power. So I have a Excel sheet here that I put together. And my big concern here is, of course, total motive power needed. Just exactly how many locomotives will I need to operate the Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision properly. Then the other thing, of course, is then what is going to be the makeup of those locomotives. And this is something that I really need to kind of keep track of as I make purchases. And I'm almost to the very end of purchasing all the locomotives, so I'm very close to having everything I need. First of all, just kind of want to take a look at this spreadsheet here, see if you can follow what I'm doing here. I have a column here on the different trains that are on the layout, the number of each train, how many there are of each train, what the average scale length is for each ones, and they can be up to half a mile long, which is pretty good for a model train layout. Actual prototype trains can be more than a mile, close to 2 miles in some cases, but not able to do that on a model train layout, at least not mine. But I am able to have some pretty long trains, and so I kind of have an idea of how long each train is, and then that, of course, will determine how many locomotives I will need, and then that, of course, adds up to the total number of locomotives. So just quickly go over that. I have a stack trains. I have an international stack train and a domestic stack train, and then empty and loaded coal trains. And all 4 of those are about 2750. Those are the longest trains I have, and each of them takes 4 locomotives each. And that could be distributed power. For one, I think there's 2 in the front, 1 in the middle, 1 at the end, or 3 in the front. And then I think they all have 3 in the front, and then 1 either in the middle or at the end. But they definitely make use of distributed power. The manifest I have all have just head end power. They don't have any distributed power units, but I do have manifest trains that are average about 2,400 feet in length. So there's 4 of those trains. 3 of them are in the staging yards. 1 of them is going to be as part of the Pocatello sub. So each of those have 3 locomotives, so a total of 12 there. I have a couple of locals in the staging yard. They're a little bit shorter at 1750 for an average. Only 2 locomotives needed for each of those for a total of 4. I have a couple of ethanol/oil trains. They're about 2,400 feet in length, so they use 3 locomotives each, 2 in the front and 1 at the end for each of those. So that's a total of 6. I have 1 auto rack train that's about 2,200 square feet. That also has 3 locomotives, 2 at the front, 1 at the rear. And then, of course, I have my excursion train, which is 2 locomotives, the FEF that I have, and then the diesel that goes with it. I am going to have another excursion train. This excursion train, I'm going to add a couple of staging yard tracks for those. So the main staging tracks is 12, then I'm going to have an extra couple for excursion. Eventually want to have a big boy and so on, but a total of 14 trains will hopefully be maybe one more for another excursion train. Then there's also a couple of trains that are built in the Evanston yard. So there's 2 of those. Those are both locals, two locomotives each. That's 4 more. There is 1 manifest train that has a consist change. So that's 1 of those we need. So it's 3 more locomotives at the yard for a consist change. And then the yard switchers, we have 4, 2 switchers working 2 locomotives for each. Actually, it should be 2 and then 4 total. But anyway, and then we have a couple of industrial switchers, one at UTLX and the other one at Westvaco. So a total of 55 locomotives are needed to run the trains. Now, I don't want to just go out and buy 55 locomotives. They have to kind of fit the layout and the trains, and I want them also to represent accurately the motive power that the Union Pacific has. Now right here, this is a very important column, the prototype I researched. There's a Railroad Pictures archive that has the total Union Pacific roster, and so I used the numbers from that for these locomotives and the totals, and I came up with a percentage for each of those types of locomotives: SD70M, ACE 4400s, and so on. And then here I have listed all the locomotives that I have purchased at this time. Now I have all of these except for 2 Athearn AC 4400s that I have on pre-order, and I did include the 5 Scale Trains locomotives, which I don't have yet, but I'm going to have those in the next couple of days. Getting those, a little bit more about those a little bit later. And then all the other ones, and so here's the total that I expect to have on the layout. And I want, of course, the percentage for the layout here to at least come somewhat close to the percentages that are on the prototype. And it comes out pretty good. Some of the, I kind of feel like some of the older units could be a little bit lower in percentage because they're probably more likely to be in storage. The newer units can be a little bit over since they probably will all be running. So some of the older units like the SD70Ms, that's a little bit lower, 16 compared to 10. The AC4400, 16 compared to, 16 compared to 20. And same thing with the AC4400, 16 compared to 20. The C44-9s are pretty much right on where they're supposed to be. ES44, the regular GEVOs, those are pretty close to where they're supposed to be. I'm a little bit high on the Tier 4. These are the Tier 4 GEVOs, but I'm not too concerned about that because I think the most recent ones will be definitely used more. Here's another older unit that's a little bit low. This one's kind of like right on. SD40s were a little bit over on that. That's an older unit, but I know they have a lot of SD40-2s on the Evanston sub, so that's okay. Don't have any SD59-2s. I included that because I might possibly get the Athearn one that's coming out. Don't really know. SD60M, I have 2 of those, so that's a little bit lower than the average, but that's all right. And same thing with a regular straight SD60. Those are older locomotives, so that's fine. So a total for UP is 44. And then I have foreign locomotives like CSX and Norfolk Southern and Canadian Pacific and Canadian National and so on. Right now that makes 19% of the total. I'd be interested in your comments if you think that's pretty representative. 1 in 5 of the locomotives are foreign powers. That seems a little high to me. So I'm not sure. And then excursion and industrial, that kind of just are some extras. So I have right now 57 here. I only need 55. So I have 2 that I can kind of rotate on and off. And it's always good to have a couple extras. And as time goes on, I'm sure I won't just like never ever buy more locomotives. I probably sure will buy more as they come out, but hopefully it won't get too overboard. But it wouldn't hurt to have 5 or 6 extras, so then I could rotate them in on a regular basis. So that's where my planning is for adding locomotives and getting a roster on the layout that's representative of the prototype. All right, now on to the unboxing. Sorry for the audio quality on some of those descriptions. Hopefully you were able to understand it all, but I did get 9 more cars from Atlas. I got some covered hoppers. These are the Master Plus ones. Got these for $40 a piece, which I thought was a pretty good price. And I got 6 of these, and I got 4 of the city ones, and then I forget which is which, but we'll take a look at both of them here real quick. See how they look. This is again is the Master Plus. Atlas, I think, has the Gold series. I think that's for locomotives, but I think for rolling stock they have Master and Master Plus. So these are exceptionally detailed. They're not quite up to Genesis line of Athearn as far as a detail, but then again they're not near as expensive either. These were only $40, which is a lot less than what most Genesis cars are. And these are the Pressuraide cars. I needed some more cars for Wholesome Cement. Definitely need lots and lots of cement cars to go in and out of the Wholesome Cement facility. So I did a little research on their Pressuraide cars, and they are used for cement along with a lot of other things. This is a little bit more modern type of covered hopper than some of the ones I have already, but this will definitely, getting 6 more of these will definitely go a long way towards giving me the right number of cement cars for operations. The little blue Rolling bearing caps do not roll with the wheels. Has the brass etching for the roof walks. The yellow grab iron there is pretty well done. The end detail, the ladders and grab irons and everything are very finely detailed. Some hatches look good. Overall, it's got some pretty good detail to it. For 40 bucks, I thought it was a pretty good deal. That comes with a warranty card, and then some information about the warranty. I usually don't register my products, although I do for Scale Trains locomotives, because you get an extra year of warranty if you do that. No, not really any information about the cars at all. Here's some information about the cars, but it's actually not the car that's in the package. I think it's just some general information, not necessarily about that particular car. Here's the other one. Pretty much look exactly the same, except for the different reporting marks and, of course, different road number. They're packed very well. Have the safety yellow stripes, which is important. Again, good details. There is the coupler lever is there, as well as the air hose on these. So pretty good cars. I'm very happy with those. Got 6 of them. And then these is some Coil steel cars. Or is it steel coil cars? I think it's coiled steel. But anyway, these are just the Master line. So it's not Master Plus, just Master. I got these for $29.50, I believe. So these are a pretty good price. And for under $30, these are pretty good. I have 3 Scale Trains coil cars, and they were in the 40s. They were pretty expensive. And then I have one Exact Rail, which was also in the upper 40s. This is under 30, and I think is pretty comparable to the other ones. It's got the brass etching for the walkways, fine detail on the ladders or the stirrups and everything. Got some underbody detail, though you never see that with the way this particular car has a little skirting there and so forth. There is kind of a air hose dealy there. No coupler levers is visible. One thing also, here you can see the etched walkways. They are see-through and everything. You cannot remove the cover. There's no steel coil cars underneath, which I don't really care about. They're almost always covered. I got one CSX and I got 2 of these protective. I have an Exact Rail one, almost exactly like this, like these, as far as the road name and everything. That one, the Exact Rail one's Norfolk Southern. This is not Norfolk Southern. It's DLRX or something like that. And the air hose looked a little goofy there at first, but then I figured out that there's some detail parts to add, which I'll show you in a little bit. You can see the detail a little bit better in this lighter color. And these cars roll very nicely. I had a little bit of a problem. I went to photograph these, but they started to roll down the hill. This is about, maybe just under a 1% grade. And when I let go of it, it starts rolling on its own. So that's pretty impressive. Like sometimes the HO cars don't roll that freely. I did couple them up to a coupler gauge, and the couplers were right on the mark. And here you can see the car is a little bit up close. I could not figure out what this thing here was. If you know what this is, please in the comments let me know, let everybody know what that is. I have a picture of it here somewhere along the line. But definitely a little bit unusual. So I got the CLSX and the CBFX. I got 4 of one and 2 of the other. I think I got more of the CBFX and only 2 of the CLX or whatever the other one was. So definitely a nice addition to the collection. I need to have a few more cars, another train. Here's that picture. What is this thing? It's the exact same thing on both of the cars. Let me know if you figure it out. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. That would be a great idea. And comment, become a member. That would also always be awesome. Really appreciate everything that all of you do and your support of the layout. As we see an auto rack train go up the Wasatch grade, pulled by the Katy Heritage unit. And we'll see it collide, or I should say, not collide, but meet a westbound train. We're moving eastbound here up the Wasatch grade. Thanks again for watching. There will be another update on Sunday, hopefully, if things go well. Sorry about running the red signal right there. Didn't feel like redoing the video, so we're just going to go with it. We'll see the tank car coming in the other direction. So lots more to report. We'll see some of the things that I showed you already, the trees, some of the more ballasting at UTLX, the labels, maybe some other surprises. So stay tuned for that on Sunday. Thanks again. Take care, everybody.